Hello everyone, Mr. Wendell here, taking a look at what we have done for Chapter 5. So we started out Chapter 5 with looking at what forces are, and we got a basic definition of a force being a push or pull. We have a few units that we are using. We first talked about newtons as a unit of force. Pounds are the English version of that, the version that we use here in the United States. A couple metric units definitions. A newton is 1 kilogram multiplied by 1 meters per second squared. So you're taking an object that weighs a kilogram and increasing its velocity to 1 meter per second. That's the amount of force that a newton is. We finished up the first section of the chapter with measuring and using spring scales. We graphed the data and determined the pull of gravity. Next thing we looked at was the four fundamental forces. Those were the strong nuclear, electromagnetic, weak force, and gravity, and they are written there basically for you in order. The strong nuclear force is obviously the strongest one. Gravity is the weakest one. We looked at how forces interact, whether they're contact forces, in other words, they're touching, or they're at a distance. Gravity is a force of attraction. We talked about the information I wanted you to know about gravity is that the larger the objects are and the closer they are together, the more gravitational pull will be between them. Strength of gravity on Earth is 9.8 newtons per kilogram, or if we're talking about the acceleration of gravity, it's 9.8 meters per second per second. Your weight depends on the pull of gravity and the mass that you are. The equation that we used to calculate the weight of an object, or if we had the weight and we wanted to look at its mass, was Fw, which is the force of weight, is equal to mass. Mass, remember, is measured in kilograms, times gravity. We moved on from that to frictional forces. Friction is a force that resists motion. There's a bunch of different types. We had done a lab on this looking at air friction or viscous friction. We looked at rolling and we looked at sliding friction, and we ranked them from most to least in terms of our car. The last thing we did in the chapter, and we didn't get a ton of time to do this, but we did talk about net force, taking a look at the forces acting on a single object, and then looking at the direction the object moves depending on the net force. Remember, net force overall, if it's 0, means the object is not accelerating. It can be moving, but it's not accelerating. If the net force is more than 0, then the object is going to be accelerating in a particular direction. So we will have a short quiz. What I'd like you to do is log on, take the quiz, and do the best that you can. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you later.